Hey there, this is Tim, and in this video I'm going to go over my last 30 eBay sales, both the good ones and the bad ones. So you can see where I'm at here currently. I've sold 15,000 in the last 30 days, and I'm actually down. In the month of June, beyond the 30 days, we had one really expensive item, so it pushed our average way up. But 15,000 in 30 days, I'm certainly not complaining there. This item, we picked up some laser cells from a company, and we're consigning them out. And this has been part of that set. They're doing okay, not great. I wish you're getting in the $20 to $30 range, but at least they qualify for media shipping, so they're coming along. Now this one, I think I took like a $120 offer on. I actually got into the getting two of these. So what this is when someone is a smoker and they lose their voice box and they get it taken out in surgery. This is one of those electric gadgets you put next to your throat and you get electronic voice out so you can hear you. Now, if this were brand new, it wouldn't have been like $800 to $1,000, but this one certainly wasn't new. In fact, I wasn't even sure it was working, and the batteries, I tried to rehabilitate the batteries, and they were very corroded. So I ended up taking like $120 for this one, but for the both of them, I spent like about $35 out of the local auction house, so I still made money. Now this one, I got the swap meet. You know, one bummer about these other items is you can't sell them on Amazon, where I love to sell them, where I could probably get 20 to 30 bucks, and I never do as well as when they're on eBay. This knife sharpener I got at the thrift store. It was pretty good. I got it for $5. It was actually $10. I got it on the half off day, and it did pretty well for us. Now this one, my friend, he had this on a local high bid auction, and he had a $200 reserve on it. And I'd seen these sell between, say, $250 to $400. So he was on, his reserve was reasonable, but it wasn't going to leave much room for profit. So no one bid on it. So I met up with him later, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll take it for half. So he sold it to me for $100. Okay, so that was good. So I ended up selling this for about $250. And I actually remember these back in the days. My father, he had one. It wasn't this exact model, but he had the 2-disc one, and I thought that was pretty rocking. The other thing is that this worked. Now, I've seen people, they have the old MS-DOS floppy boot disk, and they'll actually play games on these and show those games playing, which adds even more value. And this one, there's another one I didn't expect. This was an old computers from the early 80s made by this company, and didn't make them anymore. Now, my partner, he got this from a large office lot. This business was going out of business, and he bought like all of their office equipment, super duper cheap. And I don't mean the desks and the chairs. I mean like the monitors, the printers, and stuff like that. And some of it wasn't good, but some of it was. Well, anyway, this lot was in there. Now, none of this turned on, none of these components. If they turned on, I would have been like in about the $800 range. And also, one of the big bummers is the faceplate on the computer, which shows its ID. That was missing. So that was the other bummer. But just because of its rarity. And the other thing is, you never see these in a set. I had the keyboard, the CPU, the printer, and the monitor. Even had the dust cover, which isn't pictured. And I'm sure this is the only time in history it's actually been sold as a set. So actually, I ended up selling this to a guy, and he was able to rehabilitate the system and actually get it going, which is pretty cool. But he turned out to be an instructor at a local community college, so he's worked with this stuff before. And then he had his students 3D print a faceplate. And I think they ended up donating this to some museum. So it was kind of cool that it worked out, that this went to a good home. My partner, he sold this. I think he got this just for a couple of bucks at a garage sale, and he recognized the value more than me. My partner, he does a ton with coins, and so periodically he'll put up coins. He's always wheeling and dealing with coins, and this is one of his. I wouldn't be surprised if he had this for 6 months before he had time to put it on. Oh, no, this one turned out to be a bomb. So I got this at the swap meet for $3. I'm thinking, ha ha ha. All right, I got a great Apple product. Keyboard. Normally these are in the 20 to 40 range. Well, I don't have an Apple, so I wasn't able to test it. So the person got it, didn't work, and then ended up returning it for a full refund. So I took a hit on this. So I wish I would have been a bit smarter. I mentioned that Office Lot my partner bought, and this is a scanner that went with it. And I was almost going to throw this out. I didn't think it was worth it. Now, with the scanner, this isn't a paper scanner. This converted old photo slides that you had from the 70s. It would convert those slides into a digital image. And this category has been beat out by all the Chinese cheapies. So I didn't have much hope for it. So I was going to throw it out, but I thought, no, I'll go ahead and list it. And it sold within a couple of days. So it was more pleasant than I expected. Oh, now this was an old, I should say, old, new in box amp meter. Again, I got this half off. It was $5, and I got it for $2.50. And I threw it up for 25. And of course, I was hoping to get that. But you see, I got the 18. So I made some money, but not a ton of money. Now, I've actually been cleaning it out, and I have a bunch of old appliance parts, and these are just some plastic push buttons. And I only listed these because I knew they weren't big sellers, or I should say they were big sellers. They just sell for really, really cheap because you're just selling a little plastic button. So I had 2 of them, so I had to photograph it once. And both of these sold within a week. Now you can see I sold it for $8.50, but it came with free shipping, which is first class, so that ate $3.50 into it. So I made a little money, not a lot. Oh, now this is another one that came from the thrift store, half off, and I got these because one, they were new in box. I got them super cheap, and I got 2 of them, so I only had to list it once. And both of these did well. The first one sold within a couple days. The second one languished, and I think I sold it within like 3 weeks afterwards, but I did get rid of it. Oh, now this one I took a hit on. Now I only spent a couple of bucks on it, and you may be able to see from the photo, this isn't aluminum, this is steel, and this is baseball bat proof. And no kidding, it was about 35 pounds damn heavy. So I'm thinking, okay, this is big and industrial, and I got it, so I'm going to do well on it. Well, and I only spent a couple of bucks. Well, I get it, and then I find out, no, it was actually pretty common, and they're sold a lot on eBay for pretty cheap. And worse, all the other sellers had free shipping. So you can see I sold it for $20. I put $20 shipping. Well, when I was done with the package, it ended up weighing 40 pounds. So guess what it costs to ship? $40. So my sale just covered my shipping. So everything else I took a loss on. Here's a couple of Google items. I bought these both at the swap meet for $5 a pop. And I went ahead and I loaded them up, and you can see I got 50 for them. Now, this is one I took a chance on, only because I got it free, actually at a garage sale. I never like selling any models or game kits which are open, because you never know if they're complete. In these models, if any of the plates are missing. But I opened it up, it looked complete, and since it was a freebie, I thought, well, why not? And I ended up getting the $20 for it. These office phones, I've actually been doing a lot better on these than I expected. So I think what happens is companies, they have these older legacy systems, and their phones poop out, and they need to replace it. And they turn to eBay, and they get something like this. So this one I sold for $21. I wish I would not have given free shipping. The shipping itself was probably over $10. I didn't make that much. Here's another one of those laser cells. We sold this one for $15. Again, they're doing okay. I wish I would have gotten more. Now, we got a bunch of cameras in a big lot from a consignor. So this is one of his. So we went ahead and listed this for him. You can see we got 130. This is another one of those cameras. Now this is an old 35 millimeter camera. In fact, this is one of the level entry cameras. I know a lot of photographers back when you had film, they cut their teeth on this camera. So that's why I went for a little more. Plus it's in good condition. These flashes, we sold flashes at different levels. This is one of the cheaper ones. You can see it went for $40 part of the consignment lot. This is another film camera. This is one of the better ones. And you can see we're still getting decent prices out of these film cameras. Now, this one, I didn't think of selling. I was cleaning up some corners of the house. And what happened, I have a neighbor. He was cleaning out a place. He had a tenant there. And the old tenant, he had DirecTV Plus. And he must have got the device from them. He left it there. And he said, "Do you want it?" So I said, "Sure, okay." So I didn't have much hope it would sell. But I went ahead and listed it. And you can see I got the $30 for it. Now, these Nikes, I made a little money, but not a lot. I've been watching these other videos where people, they do wonderful with Nikes, new Nikes. I thought, okay, they got to be worth something. So I bought 6 Nike shoes for $100. Now, what I didn't realize then was that Nikes with cleats, which are all the ones I got, were the poor sellers. So I really didn't make that much money on these Nikes. I mentioned that office lot. Now, this is another one that was old stock but new in box. And it's an old telephone answering machine. And actually, it still had a tape in it, a new tape. And this one, it sold in less than a day. I wish I would have actually asked for a little more. And it sold for full price. I didn't expect it. If you watch my previous videos, I mentioned that my partner, he spent it was certainly over $1,000, but he bought out the inventory of an old watch repair business. And I didn't understand it at the time, but it was just full of jeweler stuff. So he went through all the old watches and separated them out. And so he's been selling everything out of that. And here are some of those lots. This is another one we sold on consignment. You can see we got a good price for it. And of course, good lenses do well. Now, I got this for $1, and I got it because it was an old German one. And I've seen this kind of this hobby class that still use slide rules. It's not the ones, I wish I've seen them go from 20 to 50 for the rare ones. It wasn't that one. In fact, I had to knock down the price a bit for it to sell. But, you know, for $1, I still did well. Here's another one of those telephones. And I looked this one up, and they usually do around 50. So I started off at 60, then we lowered the price, and I went ahead and sold it. Another one of those office phones. This one I bought at a huge lot of Technic stuff, and I didn't expect to get this price. There were like 4 Technic components. There was like a radio, a phono, tape player, and this equalizer, and I paid $20 for the whole lot. And Technics is, I'd say it's just below average. They're okay, but they're not great. But this one, I said, okay, I'm just going to throw it up for auction. Usually I do buy it now. But it went for a lot more than I expected. All right, that's it. You hear this at every video. Be sure and like and subscribe, and leave me a little love with a comment. Cheers.